Hello. Today I'm going to give a brief overview of the communicative approach to learning a second language. The communicative approach, also known as CLT, it got its beginnings from the research and the theories of Noam Chomsky. Noam Chomsky's work in the 60s said that true language acquisition should have the goal of communicative competence. Now, what does that mean? Communicative competence, all we're saying is that the goal should be that the learner is actually able to use the target language in meaningful interaction. The other person who contributed to the communicative language approach was Michael Halliday. And Michael Halliday's work focused on the way that infants acquire their first language. Now, the central theme of this approach is interaction. And for the purposes of this talk, I'm going to use interaction and immersion synonymously because, in my opinion, they have the same purpose of getting a learner to be immersed in the target language. And the way that the communicative approach really works, what really drives it, is this interaction. Now, this interaction is so important because it helps the learners to acquire meaning. And as these learners acquire meaning, they'll become more confident in the target language. And hopefully, this meaning acquisition will become more interaction. And more interaction equals more acquiring of meaning. Which will continue to foster more interaction. So as you can see, the theory here is that the system will support itself. Learners will interact more in the target language. They'll gain more meaning through that interaction. And then they'll get the confidence to interact more with maybe native speakers or to practice more with people who speak their first language. And this cycle will become the new language. In practice and in classrooms, the way that this type of approach really takes shape is that, for instance, a teacher may split up their class into small groups or pairs, and the students will have to complete exercises. They may have to do something, for instance, 2 students may have to say how their weekend went, or they may have to say how a trip to the store went with their family. And also, they may try other types of approaches within the communicative approach such as question and answer sessions or interviews. And these are so important because learners of a language can learn how native speakers actually ask and answer questions. And that really is very helpful when learning a new language. And it goes back to the main principles of the communicative approach, which is to build communicative competence. And what we're trying to drive home here is that through gaining communicative competence, we're able to better interact with native speakers and to better acquire and use the target language.